This is the all-new Chevy Colorado. You think about the Detroit 3, whether it's Ford getting rid of the Ranger, Ram, or Dodge getting rid of the Dakota, and General Motors getting rid of the Colorado and the Canyon several years ago. They left a huge vacuum in the small to mid-size pickup truck marketplace, which was filled by Toyota. The Tacoma is a huge seller. It outsells everything else about 3 to 1. Small players would be the Nissan Frontier and the Ridgeline from Honda, but now, bam! General Motors is back in the game. This truck is available with an extended cab or a crew cab, the one you see here. It starts out with a base model, then an LT and a Z71 package, which is the one you see here. The Z71 gets 17-inch alloy wheels on all-terrain tires. The base wheel is a 16-inch steel wheel. You can also get 16-inch alloys, 17s and 18s as well. You can also spot the Z71 because of the sticker on the back and also the gray here, this sort of gunmetal gray, which replaces chrome. Now, there's one thing about the Sidestep in a moment that I'm going to talk about. I'm not too crazy about that. Now, around the back, you get the soft open tailgate, which is a huge benefit to anybody that's owned a pickup truck. Also, the little step on the side of the bumper is there, just like the bigger Silverado. This truck is available with a 6.2-foot bed on the extended cab, and the crew cab can be available with a 5.2-foot bed or a 6.2-foot bed. And Chevrolet claims if you fold the tailgate down and put the extender in, you can get items up to 8 feet long in the bed of this truck. Now, I had a chance to speak to the chief engineer of this new Colorado when the truck was unveiled in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. He's a Canadian, by the way. He engineered not only this truck, but also the bigger full-size Sierra and Silverado. And I asked him, do they have similarities? And he said there's a lot of similarities between the 1500 full-size trucks and this mid-size truck. He says it has triple sealed doors to keep it quiet on the inside, got felt wheel well liners to keep the noise down as well. And he said if you turn the Silverado upside down and this Colorado upside down, this is just really a smaller version of those full-size trucks, and that's a good thing. And I'll explain more on the inside. Now, I do have one issue with this tubular Sidestep bar on the Z71. It sticks out quite a bit, and the truck really isn't that high that you even need a Sidestep for grown-ups. I can get into this no problem, but because of this bar here, I actually have to now make a big reach. I don't need a big bar to step up to get into this truck. It's a bit overkill, and getting out is even worse. It'd be good if they had a small one in the back for kids, or they pop out like you see with a lot of other trucks. So I would get it without that. That's just my personal take. But inside, it's a nice place. You see, that step up is a little bit ridiculous. Now, I mentioned the chief engineer for a couple of reasons, is that the big advantage to those new full-size GM trucks, the Silverado or the Sierra, is just how quiet they are on the inside. They are by far the quietest. I would say number 2 is the Ram. And all of the same stuff they did to that truck, they did to this truck. Now, this is a work vehicle, of course, so if you look at it with those eyes, it definitely is functional. It isn't as posh and upscale as you can get with some of the full-size trucks, but I think a lot of people will be very happy with this because it offers a lot. First of all, on the base model, you get a 4.2-inch screen in the center. If you get the LT or the Z71, it comes with the 8-inch screen, and on both those trim levels, you can get navigation. This one has navigation and the upgraded stereo system. It's got a screen in behind the steering wheel here for more information. There's a USB and an auxiliary jack here, another power outlet as well. There's a USB inside the center armrest. Fairly big cup holders, not as big. You don't have as much real estate as you do with a full-size truck, but there is an upside to having a smaller vehicle. More on that in a moment. Well, for the most part, fairly soft touch materials. There's still quite a bit of hard plastic in here, but once again, this is a work vehicle. I do think the seats are comfortable, though. I'll give them a thumbs up for that. And the seating position is quite nice. And it's the dimensions of the truck that really are going to be attractive to most people that need to use a truck in the city, but don't need a full-size vehicle. And this is the crew cab. Now, it doesn't look like there's a lot of room back there, but you can sit in the back seat absolutely no problem as an adult. So for a family, somebody uses this on the job site during the day and needs it on the weekend with the kids, there's absolutely no problem fitting a family of 4 or even 5 in a pinch inside this truck if you need to. You can also fold the back seats down for a flatter storage area in the back. Same thing, use it during the week on the job site or for activities, and then you put the seats up on the weekend. So that's a basic overall view of this. So once again, there's 3 basic trim levels, the base, the LT, and the Z71. And this truck, the Z71, is the most expensive model. and it's $35,700. There's a few added features in here like navigation and the upgraded sound system, but you can get a nicely equipped full load Z71 for that kind of money, and that's not bad at all. And under the hood, there's even more treats. Now, as I mentioned, the goodness that's in the full-size trucks is in here, and it all comes around how quiet and refined the interior is. And that really pays dividends if you're doing a lot of driving, especially if you work in a vehicle, but even a recreation vehicle. If you're taking this on a couple 100-kilometer road trip, you want it to be smooth and quiet. Under the hood, there's a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with 200 horsepower and just under 200 foot-pounds of torque, 191 foot-pounds of torque. But most people are probably going to gravitate towards the 3.6-liter V6 that's used in this. It has 305 horsepower. That's the same 3.6-liter V6 they use across many other vehicles in the General Motors family, but this has been improved for low-end torque. They claim the torque comes on full torque at 2,000 RPM, which is really quite low. But the big ace that General Motors has, which is coming soon, is the new 4-cylinder diesel engine, and this is going to be a torque monster. A 2.8-liter Duratec diesel with 369 foot-pounds of torque. Not available yet, but that's going to set this truck apart from everybody else in the industry, and hopefully they can keep that engine as quiet as they have here with the gasoline. Now, the upside to the 3.6-liter is towing capacity. This truck is capable of up to 7,000-pound towing capacity, which is a pretty good sized trailer for the average weekender. It amazes me at just how far trucks have come over the last few years, whether the full-size trucks or these smaller trucks. There's so much more forgiving for everyday use. This is a perfect size for somebody that needs to use a truck in the city, or as I mentioned, somebody might want to drive this to work every day and then take it out on the weekend and put like dirt bikes in the back, something like that. It really is a smart size, and there have been very few players in the mid-size truck market. I'm glad Chevrolet is back, and it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to drive that diesel in the future. Now, this size of truck has a lot of appeal. To me, I would love to have a vehicle this big. I love the fact that you can get some great features in those full-size trucks, but I just wouldn't need it. Now, what does Detroit do best? They do trucks the best, and this new Colorado is a huge improvement over the really quite basic vehicles that they replace. 2 engines available, 2 bed lengths. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when that new Tacoma comes out this fall.